out of town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Let's creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within. Mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Yeah.
defensively looked a little bit fragile at times defensively, but they seem to have addressed that. Made some good signings. Diaz especially, Laporte being back fit when he's back fit, those two make a really good pairing, I think. And if they get a good run of games, can go on and forge a really good relationship. So it's not too much wrong, and it's, like I say, hopefully or potentially for them, they'll be looking at a big win today, really get their season on track.
Well, kick-off is around about 20 minutes from now here at the Etihad, Manchester City against Burnley, and you're listening to Premier League Live.
Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews, and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sports settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets, and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days. Protective polymer layer. For more information on Guardson Sport and other certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
The Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision. With LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the Ford Transit Custom from €290 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford Lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost a standard rate. Price quoted for Transit Custom Base with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Marion Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
123ink.ie for all your home office needs, including printers, ink, toners, paper, label markers, binders, pens, pins, batteries, boxes, chalk, compass, Whoa! We're cheaper than your current supplier. 123ink.ie for home, for office, for less.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog. Just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your football squad lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Need help? Visit County.
The Etihad is largely empty again today, and sadly for City, that's looking the way of things for the foreseeable future. There will be crowds inside some stadiums next weekend. The home match against Fulham, which will be played out here next Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, is likely to be behind closed doors. City's next 4 Premier League matches will be behind closed doors because they're all in Manchester, 3 at home and the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. Now, football has been in mourning this week following the death of one of the greats of the game, Diego Maradona, at the age of 60. And Everton manager Carlo Ancelotti this week spoke, and poignant kind of tribute from Ancelotti, and he said he can't remember Maradona for that handball in 1986.
Indeed, it was handball, but the referee didn't see the handball, and so it was an important game, but you can't explain Maradona with the handball. You have to explain Maradona for what he did, and I think that World Cup, and I was there in '86. I never played, but that World Cup practically he won alone. He won alone. Was Maradona Of course, there were fantastic players there, Burruchaga, Valdano in that team, but Maradona won practically that World Cup alone.
Kit, you probably remember the 86, I know I do, it's the first World Cup I really focused on as a youngster, and I was mesmerised by Maradona, and you always remember the handball, the second goal in that game, and one or two of the other goals that he scored in that tournament, absolutely fabulous. What a wonderful player.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, you see sort of footage and pictures of him now, and he previously he was so small in height, and yet when he's on the pitch, he looked colossal. He looked so strong and powerful, and I mean, the ball was just dribbling, running with the ball. I think he was quicker running with the ball than he was running without it. Which is incredible, and he's just such a great talent, a huge loss.
You can watch that second goal against England over and over and over again. I watched it several times this weekend. I hope that Peter Reid might actually get quicker, but he seems to slow down every time I see it. But wonderful goals. I think he scored one in the semi-final as well, similar, where he just runs from the halfway line, and you try to emulate that on the school playground, which is where I was at the time as a youngster, and that was a great World Cup as well. But he did win that, like Ancelotti just mentioned, he won that World Cup on his own virtually, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's, I mean, that's, without being disrespectful to the other, and there were a lot of good players in that Argentinian side, but he was the difference, without a doubt, and just, Argentina wouldn't have won it without him, put it that way. I think that's very safe to say. And he was just such an absolute talent, and at that time as well, that during the whole tournament, he was just absolutely incredible.
Last night in the Premier League, we got matchday 10 underway, and it saw Callum Wilson and Joel Linton both scoring in the final 2 minutes for Newcastle to win 2-0 at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. Newcastle up to 10th. Let's focus our attentions on today's games going forward. A couple of good games coming up for you later on. Straight after this one here at the Etihad, we're off to Goodison Park with Tom Reddy and Sean Derry, and that's Everton against Leeds United. Never quite sure what you're going to get with Leeds United, are you, Kit? But that should be a very good game.
Yeah, it will be. Looking forward to that one as well. I mean, what you do know you're going to get from Leeds is a lot of endeavour and hard work, and they'll be organised and give it their all. Whether it's going to be the free-flowing attacking football that we've come to sort of like expect a little bit now, remains to be seen. So they've been a little bit up and down in their performances, which won't please the manager too much. But I think also he's realistic enough. Bielsa knows he's got a new team coming up into a very, very tough league, and I think overall they've equipped themselves very well so far, Leeds.
And down at the bottom, West Bromwich Albion, Sheffield United, the bottom two. That's the late kick-off this evening. Russ Hargreaves and Sheffield United striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk will be at the Hawthorns for that one. It's a must-win for both sides, really. Sheffield United desperate for a win, and they both are, aren't they?
Well, they both are, and neither team's finding the back of the net particularly easy at the moment, so they'll both be concerned about where the goals will be coming from. So you're not looking at that. You wouldn't be expecting a particularly high-scoring fixture, but against 2020, it's this crazy season, so who knows what it might throw up. And
that's the action wrapped up for today. We've still got the 3 games to go, of course. 3 games tomorrow, and the standout game, unquestionably, and we're sending Toby Gillies and Chris Perry to Stamford Bridge for this all-London affair, is Chelsea against Tottenham Hotspur. It's second against third. As I say, it's a London derby. Let's hear from Jose Mourinho, the former Chelsea man, of course, now doing an excellent job at Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea is just another game for him.
Going there top of the league or going there with Liverpool top of the league doesn't change anything for us. And as I was saying since the beginning of the season, we are only or always contenders to win the next match. Nothing more than that. So we are going to be there. 3 possible results. We are in football for a long time. We know of course that anything can happen, but we go there and our objective is to win the game.
Jose Mourinho ahead of what is going to be a pulsating game tomorrow afternoon. Really looking forward to this one. Chelsea against Tottenham Hotspur. It's a hard one to call, isn't it?
It is, yeah, very, very tight, you would think. I mean, and you just heard from Jose Mourinho there, who's the master at taking the pressure off of his team. You know, they're not expecting anything, just to win the next game or whatever look to do. Well, you know, that's not quite the truth, I don't think, but he's certainly done a very good job there. Tottenham have vastly improved, sort of on the pitch with some of the football you see them play, but more I think with this like a mental toughness and resilience that he seems to have instilled into his players over a period of time.
So big one tomorrow afternoon. That's sandwiched in between two other games. We'll quickly touch on those. The 2 o'clock kickoff is down on the south coast. St Mary's is the destination. Southampton against Manchester United. Alex Crook and Paul Parker will be our commentary team for that game down on the south coast. Southampton having an excellent season. Manchester United, well, you know, it's one good week followed by one bad week. Not quite sure what we're going to get with them, do we?
No, again, it's that lack of consistency. On that day, they can beat anyone, Man United. I really do believe that. But then also they can have, you know, they've had too many poor days where they look like they're struggling to create chances, struggling to score goals, and look a little bit pedestrian almost at times. But then, like I say, you never know which Man United's going to turn up, because they can play some fantastic stuff and their pace going forward and look the real deal. But it's the consistency plays a key role in football, and certainly if you want to be challenging for league titles.
And finishing off tomorrow night, Arsenal against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Emirates. Tom Rennie and David Connolly will be the commentary team for that one in North London, and Arsenal need a little bit of a pick-me-up at the moment, don't they?
They do as well, yeah, and you know, sort of fairly similarly Arsenal, really. You know, people were talking about Arteta being the saviour for Arsenal and all saying a lot of great things, and suddenly within a few weeks that's almost turned on its head now, and they're getting a lot of criticism from a lot of quarters, and you know, understandably so. It's all you're judged on your results, and then after that your performances. But if neither are particularly good, you're going to be coming in for a bit of stick, and you know, Arteta will understand that and realise that. And again, they're just up and down. You know, one minute they look like they've sort of found a formula, a way of playing that suits them and the football club, and then the next week they can be abject and struggle. So it's a common theme, really, I think, Barry, looking at quite a few teams at the moment.
And a couple of games on Monday, Leicester City against Fulham, West Ham against Aston Villa. Fulham back in the bottom three. You know, that's a game that they will look at and relish, and maybe they might just be able to pick something up there as long as they don't get a penalty.
Yeah, well, they certainly haven't got a great record from the spot at the moment. That is for sure. But no, I think it'd be very tough for Fulham. Realistically, on Monday night, Leicester are a very good side, and you know, strong defensively, but they've got a real threat going forward as well. And Fulham play really well in patches of games, but that's not enough. You know, you need to be a lot more consistent to do well in the Premier League, because you get punished for any small mistakes, or you let your foot off the gas or whatever.
And turning our attentions back to the game here at the Etihad, we're just bang on 10 minutes to kick off, and so let's turn our attentions to that. Looking at the Manchester, both sides have made 3 changes, by the way, but let's look at Manchester City. John Stones hasn't played a Premier League match since match day 2 back in September against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he gets his chance today. He was impressive in the week in the Champions League against Olympiacos. Gets his chance today, and he needs a big performance, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And I'm not necessarily sure this is the sort of game that really suits him. He'll be up against big Chris Wood, who'll be looking to try and impose himself physically onto him. Now, he really needs to stand up, and you know what you're going to get from Burnley. They will play direct at times into the big striker. They'll put a lot of crosses, and they'll put a lot of emphasis on their set pieces, which is, at times has not always been, since he's gone to Man City, John Stones' strength. So he needs to to do well in that aspect of his game today. Coming out, being comfortable on the board, all this, that's great, that's lovely, but that's the added part of his game. He needs to do the dirty side of it first, if you like, for me today, that defending and win a physical battle up against Chris Wood.
And to his left, Benjamin Mendy, good to see him back. He played in the week in the Champions League. He gets his first appearance for 2 months in the Premier League.
Yeah, now you would expect him on that left-hand side, he'll be bombing forward, and it's generally the full-backs that give them a lot of their width, Manchester City. So he's another one who, since he's come to Man City, he's not always at the best of times due to injuries and so on, and finding a real rhythm, because he's an athlete for sure, and he can get up and down the pitch. He's very, very well, but sometimes when he's in that final third, some of his qualities not always as good as it maybe should be for the football club he's playing for. So, but it's an opportunity for him today, and I'm sure it's one he'll be relishing.
Let's hear from the two managers, shall we? Sean Dyche, the Burnley boss, and first of all, Manchester City boss, Pep Guardiola.
Every winter time is the same question. If you review the whole press conference of the managers, and most of them in this period, these kind of questions, the answer will be completely the same. But not here. I think in the Sir Alex Ferguson time or Arsene Wenger time, it was the same. So it's part of the culture, it's part of this. The manager or the players or whatever try to suggest our opinion, but a part of this we are not involved. So what we can do is try to make our teams play better.
I still think they're a proper outfit. As I said, I think it was more the prowess of Liverpool, and I would never take any credit away from Liverpool because they were just fantastic last season, an absolute machine over a season's work, and I never thought for 1 minute that Man City were bad or anything, or off where they needed to be. They just couldn't quite go the course as Liverpool did. So still a top side, still operating in a very, very good manner. They all know their roles and responsibilities, both in possession and out of possession, by the way. People forget about the work that they do and the shape that they keep when they're out of possession.
The academy is to play the academy and help us when we need it, but it's not the reason why. The reason why is to protect the academy players, but the players, the first team, for this amount of games, you know that. So the last game against Olympiacos, the last 50-20 minutes, players like Mendy didn't play much recently, and other players like Gundogan and Rodri especially play a lot of minutes. You can avoid them the last 10-15 minutes. Sometimes it's going to happen, sometimes not. Sometimes we're going to use the 3 substitution, in that case in Champions League 5. We got the rule, accept to do it, but doesn't mean I have to do it, but it's important for that reason.
At the end of the day, it's one of them things where I thought we were getting closer to what we expected from the team, performance-wise. I said all along, if you get that right, you increase your chance of a win. We got that win, that was good, against a Crystal Palace side who were going well and doing a good job for themselves. And overall, I thought we edged it. We often have to do that. I spoke very early season about the margins and getting on the right side, and we did on that occasion. And, we get a nice 3 points, and everyone sort of reminds themselves of what we do, or everyone in this camp reminds themselves of what we do, and when we do it, we're effective. And that's what we look to be in our games, is effective. That's the first port of call, I should say.
That's Sean Dyche and Pep Guardiola there, the two managers ahead of the game here between Manchester City and Burnley. Burnley's players are making their way out onto the pitch at the moment. Kit Simons alongside me. Kit, any predictions for today?
I would go for a City win. It's hard to see beyond now, although they are struggling for goals. I think they'll dominate possession without a doubt, and they'll create enough chances to probably get a 2-0 win or something. I don't think it'll be quite the 5-0 of the last 3 meetings at the Etihad, but I do think it'll be a fairly comfortable City win.
So you're sitting on the fence like me. I was going to say 2-0. So to kick off is coming up very shortly. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tires. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tires below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tire safety check to ensure your tires are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer, FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. Insurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance PLC.
Upgrade your home viewing experience at Curry's PC World. See every tackle, shot and goal in crystal clear definition with our huge range of the latest to market large screen TVs with massive savings. Like save up to €130 on Samsung 4K TVs from only $459 and get your TV for half price. 1 in 20 win half their money back. Buy any LG OLED TV to enter with prices from just $1,249. Shop the full range online at currys.ie.
Get ready and hold on tight because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets, and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact. Citizens free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective
Recent history points towards a handsome home win. Burnley have been beaten by at least 3 clear goals in 7 of the last 9 meetings against Manchester City, but City need to polish off those shooting boots. Just 10 goals in 8 league games so far this season, and that's just not Manchester City. In terms of team news, well, both City and Burnley have made 3 changes. City's more luxury changes. John Stones coming in, Ilkay Gundogan coming in, and Benjamin Mendy back from a long layoff through injury for his first Premier League game since September. Stones starting a first Premier League game since September as well. For Burnley, 3 changes. 2 of those are debutants. Bailey Peacock-Farrell in goal for Burnley. Big game for him, the Northern Ireland international, 24-year-old. It's his Premier League debut, and in league experience as the 2 sets of players take the knee. His only league experience is 2 appearances in League 2 last season on loan at Grimsby Town. So, big game for those 2. And Ashley Barnes is also back in the starting lineup. So, a quick run through the 2 teams. Manchester City, Edison in goal, Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, John Stones and Benjamin Mendy at the back, Riyad Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, Ilkay Gundogan and Ferran Torres across that midfield with Gabriel Jesus up top there. Bench is a powerful one. Zach Stefan is the goalkeeper. Raheem Sterling, Fernandinho, João Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, Eric Garcia and Phil Foden. For Burnley, Bailey Peacock-Farrell in goal. A back 4 of Matthew Loughton, the captain Ben Mee, James Tarkowski and Charlie Taylor. Midfield of Jay Rodriguez, Ashley Westwood, Josh Benson and Dwight McNeil, and Ashley Barnes supporting Chris Wood in attack. So the referee today is Lee Mason. City in their light blue shirts and white shorts, an all black number for Burnley. City in this opening minute get a feel for the ball early on. Mendy back to Diaz and across to Stones. And this is the way we expect the game to unfold, Kit, with plenty of Manchester City possession and Burnley bodies behind the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Burnley, the masters of the low block, they do a lot of work on it. They know technically they're not going to be as good as other teams they come up against, so they do concede position, but then they get into a really strong team shape.
Here's Mahrez bursting past Charlie Taylor, who caught him with a flailing arm and pulled up abruptly there. Riyad Mahrez taking the free kick. He could have perhaps carried on there.
Yeah, he could have done. It's definitely a foul. Charlie Taylor gives him a tug, and he just sort of gives up on it, Mahrez, really. But knows he's won the foul in a very dangerous area.
So a free kick to Manchester City. Right on the edge of the penalty area, down towards the corner flag in a really wide position. De Bruyne's gone across to offer a right-footed option. Mahrez is also standing over the ball. There's a left-footed option. It is the left foot of Mahrez. Hangs it up. Good header away from Tarkowski. He'll go again. City. Gundogan. Touch. Delivered into the box from Gundogan. But he'll feel happy to get that ball in his hands. Bailey Peacock Farrell in his Premier League debut. He did face City in the League Cup in September when at Turf Moor Burnley lost 3-0. So he has faced Manchester City before. And it's going to be a drop ball here. Not quite sure what Lee Mason's thought process is here, Kit.
I'm not sure the players quite understand either, Barry, if I'm honest. He's everyone looks a little bit perplexed, but we got the game back underway anyway, and as usual, Man City have possession.
Oh, happy for them to take deflect the glory off of VAR. Plenty of VAR incidents in the game early on, with John Anderson at the helm. A 1-1 draw between Brighton and Liverpool. So Liverpool dropping points, a late penalty. Liverpool had 2 goals disallowed. Plenty of VAR controversy in that. Let's hope we don't get too much here today and that football does the talking too often in the Premier League. It's the VAR making the headlines and not the football.
That's right. You'd much rather be coming away from a game talking about an exceptional performance from an individual or a couple of players and great moments. But as you say, Barry, so often these days it's the VAR that dominates. That's the big talking point of so many games, and it's no one wants to see that really.
It's Charlie Taylor, who's played every minute in the Premier League this season for Burnley. He's the only player to do so. It's been picked up by Jesus. Challenge coming in from Benson. So City still have it with Rodri to Riyad Mahrez. Tucks it back into the possession of Kyle Walker. And John Stones keeps it moving. Ruben Diaz, the Portuguese international, shuffles forward and then checks back. Gundogan. It's gone nearly a year without a Premier League goal. He scored 2 in the Champions League this season. No league goal since just before Christmas last year, so that's one overdue, I'm sure. Here he is on the ball now, midway inside the Burnley half, plumb centre. A nice ball through the middle. Ferran Torres took it well and then curled it just wide. That's a good opening for Manchester City early on.
Yeah, really good chance there. It's good play initially from Gundogan. Threads the ball through. Torres gets into a little pocket of space and finds himself quite free right on the edge of the penalty box, dead central, and he can't quite wrap his left foot around it. He's a little bit straight, a bit square onto the ball, and he can't quite get the curl or the whip on it, but not far wide. A decent effort, but finding those little pockets of space, because Burnley will be strong and organised, but if City can get in between the units and find little pockets, they could cause Burnley big problems.
Torres has yet to score in the Premier League, the 20-year-old. He scored 4 cup goals this season. Scored a hat-trick for Spain in a 6-0 win against Germany a few weeks ago. So we know that he's perfectly capable of scoring goals. It's just not the Premier League yet. I'm sure it's not too long before we see him on the score sheet.
Now you're talking about Gundogan not scoring enough. Bernardo Silva.
Well, there's a chance, and it's Riyad Mahrez. He made no mistake. Simple one-on-one, and Riyad Mahrez tucks it away with his left foot into the corner. And it's not taken Manchester City long at all to get their noses in front. They've opened up Burnley with considerable ease, flowing football straight down the middle. Less than 6 minutes gone. Manchester City 1, Burnley 0.
Yeah, far too easy for Manchester City. Sean Dyche won't be happy at all. It came from a real cheap giveaway from Tarkowski, trying to play a straight pass, and City broke really quickly. Great little ball. De Bruyne, brilliant vision, great run. He passes the ball so quickly to Mahrez. Rather than so many players take time on the ball, he played it really quickly to give Mahrez time. And, Mahrez on his left foot, he just tucked it away very comfortably. But a poor goal from a Burnley point of view, coming from a giveaway from them. and Sean Dyche will not be happy at all.
And we was talking just before that about so-and-so not scoring and so-and-so not scoring, and for Riyad Mahrez, that's his first Manchester City league goal of the season. We're talking about all these players that haven't scored in the league so far this season, but they have been a little shot shy by their high standards, Manchester City, and from a Burnley perspective they wouldn't have wanted to concede that early.
No, not at all. I mean, the Burnley game plan would have been to be strong, resolute, try and get to half-time 0-0. Well, that's gone out the window straight away. So, you know, it's now a bit of a conundrum. What do they do? Do they open up a little bit, or do they still sit tight? I'm sure it'll be the latter. They'll still try and contain Man City, but you know, Manchester City with their tails up can cause them all sorts of problems.
Cross from Mendy on the left-hand side, but it's gone straight behind for a goal kick, which will be taken by Bailey Peacock Farrell.
I mean, you also look, Barry, you're reading the teams out at the start, and that Manchester City bench is frightening. You look at it, that bench is worth more than the whole Burnley squad, comfortably. It's
probably 3 times over.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Incredible. Absolutely incredible bench. And I think I was reading some of this. I think this is the first, or would have been the first game that Guardiola had a fully fit squad to choose from. Obviously, Aguero being out, we're thinking for compassionate reasons.
Nathan Ake's got a hamstring, hasn't he? I think
but he's very close as well, isn't he? Yeah. I thought, in fact, he was going to be fit for selection today. Maybe they just didn't want to risk him, but he's certainly there or thereabouts, isn't he, at the moment?
Well, there's a busy schedule coming up. The Champions League is every week. There is a midweek fixture coming up in the Premier League in a couple of weeks' time, as the ball is sliced up in the air by Ruben Diaz over the top of his own crossbar, less than convincing, and Burnley have a corner. And this is where, if they're going to find a goal, you'd think this is where Burnley are going to profit.
Well, it will be for sure. It's going to be crosses into the box or big long balls forward into Chris Wood to get hold of, and set pieces. Now, that was a free kick that was angled in and wasn't dealt with comfortably. Now they've got corner.
It's in by McNeil. Strong header away from Manchester City's defence. Cross was from Westwood. It was blocked by De Bruyne, and a throw in to Burnley, level with the edge of the penalty area on this left-hand side. With just coming up to 9 minutes gone here on Premier League Live. We are on Twitter, by the way, at TalkSport Live. Wherever you're listening around the world, drop us a tweet at TalkSport Live, and we'll try and give you a mention. It's Manchester City 1, Burnley 0, but Burnley are on the attack at the moment. On that left-hand side with Taylor towards the corner flag, goes bundling to touch, but doesn't get what he wants. Slammed his hand to the ground, and it's Manchester City that have possession. Sean Dyche has plenty to ponder. His side trailing here by 1-0.
I mean, just getting back to that goal, Barry, as well, it really was brilliant from De Bruyne. He's not been on top of his game in terms of assists, what he normally is at this stage of the season, but that was brilliant, and he knew exactly, as soon as the ball came into him, he knew he was going to pass it straight on to Mahrez, and like I say, he just gave Mahrez so much more time. A lot of players would have maybe taken extra touch, pondered for a half a second.
Diaz with the ball into the penalty area. He was onside, Jesus. He had to adjust and then nod it back down against the grain, and it was easy for Burnley to deal with. In fact, it was Mahrez that made the run. He was clambering, wasn't he, just to try and get any sort of purchase on it. Got the header away across the 6-yard box, easily gathered up by Peacock Farrell, who kicks long downfield. Nick Pope picked up a head injury in the win against Crystal Palace on Monday evening. A couple of stitches were required in post-match for that, and he's declared not fit today. That does cause a big problem, but Will Norris, signed in the summer from Wolves, is the third choice goalkeeper that takes his place on the bench for Burnley. Not the start that Peacock Farrell would have wanted, but there's nothing he could have done about the goal, was there?
No, absolutely not at all. Like I say, because of the early pass from De Bruyne, it then came to Mahrez, who had so much time to just pick his spot, and with that lovely left foot of his, he just put it right in the corner, and no keeper in the world would be able to save that.
City in possession. A tweet from Hugo Valentine, who says it's going to be Everton 1, Leeds 2, West Brom 1, Sheffield United 1. No mention of this game. Let us know what you think the score will be in this one, Hugo.
Just don't go for a 0-0.
Yeah, that's gone. It's been taken. I usually take them.
Can't have that, yeah. Still looking good for our 2-0 now, Barry.
Yeah. It's got to slow down a little bit, hasn't it? But here's a through ball from Torres. De Bruyne had made the run. Tarkowski and Mee. Between them, the two central defenders blocked off his run. Ben Mee, 31-year-old, former Manchester City trainee, made one League Cup appearance back in 2010 for City. And they lost that game 2-1 to West Bromwich Albion. So that was his one and only appearance before being shipped off to Burnley, where he's part of the furniture now. Come Burnley with McNeil, who is a talent. Someone that Burnley will look to try and ignite some sort of comeback against all odds. Westwood in the midfield, former Aston Villa man. Back to Lowton, another former Aston Villa man. Now Bailey Peacock Farrell. He's a Northern Ireland international, so he's got plenty of pedigree behind him, even though he hasn't played at the top table of English football. Here's McNeil battling away against Rodri. He's a big, strong midfielder. McNeil went down, but Burnley keep the possession. Tarkowski 1-2 with Westwood. Out to the left-hand side, and Ben Mee. Long ball forward, Mendy cushions a header away, and one full back to the other. McNeil goes in strong on Walker, who does just get there in time. Burnley have it back. There's a good little spell of possession here from Burnley.
Well, it is, yes. Almost a little bit uncharacteristic, to be perfectly honest. You know, they normally play a little bit more direct than this, but they've kept the ball really nicely, taking the sting out of the game a little bit, and I think Sean Dyche should be relatively pleased with, take the goal out of it, which was really annoying because it came from Burnley having good possession and an absolute giveaway from one of the defenders, which allowed City to counter before. Because when Burnley get into a good shape, when they get time, get into a good shape, they're very hard to break down. And those two central defenders, Tarkowski and Mee, really play well as a pair, and they marshal that defence, and they're very hard to break down. But because it was from a giveaway, and then City got bodies forward and could break quickly, there was no chance to recover.
It's Gundua. It's a foul. Down goes Rodri. And I think it's a foul by Barnes. And we mentioned Dwight McNeil, a young 21-year-old, just signed a contract extension to keep him at the club until 2024, in theory, unless they sell him on, of course. And Burnley are a bit of a selling club, but he's a real talent, isn't he, the left-sided player?
Yeah, he is, and they've got a few players within their squad who can create and open teams up, and you need that balance, right? They're a very strong, hard-working team in the mould of Sean Dyche himself, but they have got some creativity in there, and certainly a lot of it will come from him, and they'll look to him, I think, more and more as the season goes on to be their inspiration, their creative player.
Lowton has been caught. It's helped forward by Rodri. Here's De Bruyne inside the penalty area. Looks up and finds 5 Burnley shirts in front of him. The attempted cross was deflected away, but City have it once again with Ruben Diaz. Portuguese defender out wide on this near side. The City right is Kyle Walker. It's back with Rodri. Just calmly plays it into the feet of Diaz. And now John Stones to the right, and Walker again. Now bide their time, and like you say, it's all about opening up Burnley, but they've got that goal, and you look at that City bench and the strength that they've got. Here's De Bruyne, by the way, on the left hand side. His cross wasn't too good. It's been turned straight back to him though by Taylor. It's Jay Rodriguez, but De Bruyne steps in and takes it off of it. Gundogan, good interception by Tarkowski, just as Ferran Torres was peeling in behind. There's Lowton, just calmly back to goalkeeper Peacock Farrell, who clears long up towards the halfway line. Diaz wins the header. A little bit of climbing there on Chris Wood. Haven't really got Chris Wood into the game yet, have they, Burnley?
No, not at all at the moment. And going back to your point a few minutes ago about Burnley kept a little spell of keeping good possession, which they did, but in the middle of the pitch, and never got it forward to Chris Wood to get him involved in the game at all. So although they kept good, nice possession, didn't end up going anywhere, they didn't bring their striker into play. So it's getting that balance right.
Gundogan to Jesus. Rodri, Jesus, it's all very tight, but City are good in those tight positions. Torres to Diaz, and out to Mendy on the left hand side, back to Gundogan. Play their way through the lines. De Bruyne, lovely touch from him to Torres. Torres didn't make the most of the opportunity, and Burnley are able to clear upfield through Loughton. And Diaz steps across the left-hand side of that City defence ahead of Wood and plays it back to Edison, who I can't recall touching the ball up until now, the 17th minute.
No, and like you say, Barry, City are, or traditionally over recent years, have been really good when teams just drop off deep and pack their defence. They can find a bit of magic, a 1-2, a threaded pass from De Bruyne through the eye of a needle. They find a way of breaking that down and scoring. But this is where they've struggled this season. You know, the possession stats, I think have been pretty much the same throughout the course of the game. But it's the final third entries and actual quality shots on target are not quite as high as normal, because they've got in and around those really good areas, but they've not quite found that telling pass.
Corner to Manchester City. Good possession from the home side. It was sprinkled away to the right hand side. Riyad Mahrez knocking the ball against Charlie Taylor for a corner to Manchester City. Millwall on tour. Millwall Ian has tweeted us at TalkSport Live. Ian, listening from Lewis Beach in Delaware, USA. Manchester City will be back today going 4-0 winners, he says. Love to see Millwall win away at Birmingham too. Here's the corner. It looked like a handball by Barnes. There's no reaction from the referee because he knows he's got the backup of VAR. The corner came in and it certainly looked like, to me and you, at first sighting, that might well have hit the arm of Ashley Barnes, but there's no interception so far. Here's Riyad Mahrez. He plays it inside. The shot is fired over the top by Kyle Walker for a goal kick, and they might have just got away with one there, Burnley.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if there is a VAR check going to come on this at all or not, but the ball seemed to have travelled quite a long way and did look like it struck Ashley Barnes' arm, but doesn't look like there's a check at all, so we get on with it.
So, you never know what you're going to get with VAR, do you?
It's such a lottery, isn't it? You know?
Rafael Ivan has tweeted us at TalkSport Live. So, how many goals will VAR disallowed or give this week? Sounds like a good betting category. Very good shout. And Aaron Perez at TalkSport Live. Do you think Pep is staying at City because he believes he has something to prove, or does he still believe in the project? Aaron and Eric in Phoenix asking that question. I suppose you can answer that, can you?
I think he still believes in the project. You know, they're both really. I think he feels he's got something to prove, that he's got, and they want to win the Champions League. That's what Man City are all about for me now. So they want to do that, and I think he believes in the project that he's put into place and is seeing through currently. So I think a bit of both, yeah.
Here come City again. Stones just over the halfway line, rolls it in to Torres. It's picked up by Rodri. Torres goes to ground under the challenge of Rodriguez. Referee says, "No, go on, play on. You got the ball." And, City start again with Rodri, the Spaniard. He's the only outfield player to play in every minute of the Premier League this season for City. Gundogan to Stones, who it's been a few minutes since he's last started in the blue. Walker all the way back to Stones again, and they'll be happy to keep possession as we hit the 20-minute mark here on Premier League Live. City beating Burnley by a 0-0. They're in search of a second here. It's Mendy with the deep cross, and Barnes back there to volley away from inside his own penalty area. Finds his strike partner Wood, but they can't keep possession, Burnley, and City have it again. Great Anyamwa has just tweeted at TalkSport Live, "I love you guys and I love the commentary. I'm listening from Port Harcourt, preparing Zubo to celebrate Manchester City's win today because I see them winning by 3-1. Good job, guys," he says. So thank you very much for that tweet. Keep them coming at TalkSport Live wherever you're listening. And here's De Bruyne pinging the ball accurately to the right hand side. One touch from Kyle Walker. His attempted cross strikes Charlie Taylor, and it's out for a City throw, which is going to be taken by Walker. He's managed to find Mahrez inside the penalty area. Riyad Mahrez jinks past the couple and curls it into the corner. It's a lovely piece of skill from Riyad Mahrez. It's 2 for him, it's 2 for City. Just over 20 minutes gone, and there's daylight between these two already. Manchester City 2, Burnley 0.
Yeah, wonderful finish yet again from Riyad Mahrez. But again, Burnley will be so disappointed because it's come just from a basic throw-in. So Kyle Walker takes the throw really quick. They're not set up at all. Mahrez picks up on the touchline, on the goal line, completely free.
Yep.
Which cannot happen. Cuts inside Ben Mee, then cuts inside again Tarkowski, and bends it into the far corner. But brilliant from Mahrez, but again far too easy from a Burnley point of view. And you know, Sean Dyche will be so frustrated because the 2 goals they've conceded, one from a giveaway and then one straight from a throw-in. You know, which is basic defending really, and all the play they do, and they would have done a lot of work on it during the week with their defensive shape when the ball's in play and getting that low block against Man City. You know, it's all undone on 2 simple moments like that they should have done better with.
2 defenders very poorly positioned, and that's the undoing of Burnley for that second goal, and they could be in further trouble here. Jesus inside the penalty area, checks back to De Bruyne, just takes a step back, weighs up the options, finds Rodri. Now Walker in a central midfield position, just slides the ball to the left-hand side, and Mendy, and then Gundogan. They've got that cushion now, Manchester City, which takes any pressure that they've got off of them. And here's Walker.
I think this is the first time in 6 Premier League games that they've scored more than 1 goal in a game.
So, yes.
This, isn't it? Yeah. So it's got sort of that monkey off the back as well, if you like. So, you know, I think we both went for a 2-0 before a ball was kicked, but I think we was predicting for the first. Now. I
thought we was predicting the first 25 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll
predict the next 25 minutes in a moment. So it's par for the course, really. I mean, at City, we know that what they're capable of doing. They might not have been scoring too many goals of late, but they're on the ascendancy here with Mendy down the left-hand side. Low ball into the box, prodded away by Lowton, and then the shot by Gundogan, first time, flies well over the top of the crossbar and behind for a goal kick to Burnley.
They do look quite sharp today, City. So, as we already spoke about, the 2 goals have come from a giveaway and then a quick throw, and they didn't defend very well. City are passing the ball quite slick today, maybe a bit more tempo than normal, and they're probing and look like they're creating some decent opportunities. Although, as I said, Burnley do get a lot of bodies back into a really good shape in open play. If City can do it quick, then they can upset them.
City have had 6 attempts on goal, 2 on target, both have hit the back of the net, both from Riyad Mahrez. No attempts on goal at all from Burnley. Not really shown any threat at all in the final third. Well, in the final half, I think it's fair to say. City start again, just inside their own half. Kyle Walker cuts inside from the right-hand side to Gundogan. Spread wide to the left from Diaz to Mendy. Quickly shifts it inside. Jesus back to Mendy. Picking the ball around well here, Manchester City. Leading by 2 goals to 0. And with Liverpool dropping 2 points, the benchmark has to be Liverpool. And they'll make up 2 points as De Bruyne lofts one. Well, he had the presence of mind to have a go from 40 yards out wide on the right-hand side. The goalkeeper was lurking at the edge of his 6-yard box. There's not many players that can pull that off. One of the players is, of course, Kevin De Bruyne. It was a lovely little lob, wide out on the wide right. He very nearly caught out Bailey Peacock-Farrell, who was able to scamper back and just dab it over the bar with his left hand.
Yeah, brilliant vision, cheeky, very, very cheeky from De Bruyne, and he wasn't sort of too far forward, Peacock-Farrell, at all. You know, he had quite an aggressive starting point, but De Bruyne is right on the touchline as well. He's an awful long way out and very wide of the goal, obviously, but a great effort.
Mahrez, great ball in, and that is it going to drop in? Or it has. It's Jesus. Is it 3-0? Yes. Well, there's some confusion reigning here, and yeah, the flag is up. It's not going to count. We weren't sure what was going on there. I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. The players don't know what's going on. Jesus went up for a header, and it looped past Peacock-Farrell, who looked to have it under control. He missed it completely, mistimed it, run into the post, and it crossed the line. But the flag on this near side was up, and it was raised by Richard West, and the goal doesn't count. Jesus, for a moment, thought he'd got himself on the score sheet. It was a bizarre goal. Bit of a let-off for Peacock Farrell, because it wasn't inspirational goalkeeping, was it?
No, it was very poor from him. I mean, it's a wonderful ball in from Mahrez initially with his left foot. Fantastic ball in. And, loopy header, like the two Man City players sort of collided. And, he got caught in no man's land, really, Peacock Farrell. So I'll be pleased to see the linesman's flag go up.
He'll tell you he knew it was going to happen. Greetings from you guys. This is from Lecky Valnoni, and greetings to you guys. Happy to hear you're on air. Hope you have eaten something good. Mahrez is on fire today, but why didn't Burnley play Nick Pope? Thanks to Sammy and the Wise Men for giving us the show here in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. But the answer to that is Nick Pope picked up a head injury, a couple of stitches in the game on Monday against Crystal Palace. He hasn't trained all week, and they're not going to take a chance with him today. He should be back for their next game, which is at home next Saturday against Everton. So, Premier League debut for Bailey Peacock Farrell, who we all knew he was going to be busy, and it's a chance for him to shine. 74% possession, Manchester City, 230 odd passes to Burnley's 81. Most of those 81 were in a little 2-minute spell, weren't they?
They were, yeah. They sort of passed it around. They looked more like Man City for a 5-minute spell.
Yeah.
Passed it quite nicely. Didn't really go anywhere, like we said, and didn't bring the strikers into play. But kept good position. But didn't really go anywhere. But
cross from the left-hand side from Benjamin Mendy has hit Lowton, and Manchester City have their third corner, which Kevin De Bruyne is going across to the left-hand side to take. It looks like he's going to take it short to Mahrez.
I don't know why City don't do this all the time, because they're not particularly good at attacking direct from corners, but they're good at keeping possessions. He must play short a lot more than they do.
Tried to slide it across the edge of the 18-yard box, De Bruyne, but Burnley were equal to it. Here's Rodri. Back to Kyle Walker, who's happy to go back into his own half, and Mendy. James Downing has tweeted at TalkSport Live, I'll give you the next 25-minute prediction of 2-0 City. That takes it to 4-0, doesn't it? It's not going to stay 2-0, but here's Walker, midway inside the Burnley half on the right-hand side. That was from Sonny Sekonk in Massachusetts, while walking his dog on Saturday morning. It's his tradition whilst listening to us here on Premier League Live. Enjoying the football. It's the second instalment of 4. We've got it back to back today. It's football all the way, all weekend on Premier League Live. And Manchester City starting to find their rhythm. Lost it in recent weeks, but they're 2-0 up here against Burnley. And, it's going to take a bit of a shock to deny them 3 points this afternoon. Now they're leading comfortably. The visitors, Burnley, have a throw.
I think especially a 2-0 lead against Burnley, because they struggle to score goals anyway. So
Burnley are the lowest scorers in the whole division. 4 league goals all season. They haven't scored in the cups. 4 league goals all season tells the story. Top scorer is Chris Wood, who's got 2, and it's a difficulty for the moment. Burnley, they're good at wrapping those 1-0 wins up like they did last week against Crystal Palace. Coming back from 2-0 down early on against Manchester City is a whole new kettle of fish.
So it'll be interesting to see Sean Dyche's mindset now at half time. Is he going to sort of shut up shop and accept defeat and just try and keep the score down, or will he try and push and probe a little bit and to try and get back into it, maybe nick a goal, but then leave themselves a little bit more open? Be interesting to see his mindset.
Hit the half-hour mark, and be surprised to hear that Manchester City have got the ball at their feet. It's John Stones into the feet of Rodri, zips it back to Diaz, who lofts it to the right-hand side, and Walker, who brings it down, but it's been pinched by McNeil for Burnley down the left-hand side, trying to create an opening to get the cross in. But suddenly there's 2 Manchester City defenders around him, Stones and Walker. He does still get the cross in, McNeil. It's left for De Bruyne to get back there and glance the header away. Only as far as Ben Mee, who then turns from inside the Manchester City half and volleys it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Peacock Farrell. He needs to be careful. He's had a touch too many, and he's been closed down by Jesus, and he's happy to just clear the ball to the far side. Peacock Farrell does touch the City striker on the way through, so it will be a Burnley throw-in, but he was playing with fire a little bit there, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. I mean, it's interesting up the other end when McNeil puts the cross in, and it's played sort of a bit hopefully into the box maybe, but it's De Bruyne who's back in there almost in a centre-half position, heading it out, almost like he's not trusting his centre-halves to keep a clean sheet. He's like, well, we're 2-0 up here, I'm going to make sure we keep a clean sheet, and so he got right back in, as the deepest Man City player, and wins a good header to clear the danger.
There's De Bruyne again, turns and just lofts the ball high. Tarkowski wants it away under the attentions of Jesus, so throw into Manchester City down by the corner flag on the left-hand side. Amy has tweeted us at TalkSport Live, enjoying listening to you guys at TalkSport Live. A hat-trick for Mahrez is incoming. Well, you bet against it. And John Ordu has tweeted us as well. Told you guys the Liverpool match was going to end in a draw. To this game, 5-0 to City. That's from John Ordu from Eagle Island in Port Harcourt. And the last three, as we mentioned earlier, have ended 5-0 to Manchester City, and I think I used the phrase par for the course. It is very much par for the course at the moment. 2-0 to City, and they're on their way to 3 points already, you would feel. Here's Rodriguez for Burnley. He takes it down and he has to go all the way back, and 2 touches of the ball. Burnley, from having the ball inside the Manchester City half, are now back in their own penalty area. Barnes goes in to try and win the ball. A player that just over a year ago was hot property, banging in the goals for Burnley, but it's all got a bit stale for him. He's not been helped by injuries both last season and this season. Here's Mendy down the left hand side. De Bruyne rolls it back to Mendy again, checks back to Gundogan, goes further back to Ruben Diaz. Gundogan again, Mendy need to just keep the ball and wait for the right moment. Goes back to Diaz, who can't quite reach it, so Stones retrieves the loose ball, steers it back to Edison, who kept 16 clean sheets last season to claim the Golden Gloves on the last day of the season, pipping Nick Pope to the glory. Looks like he might well keep a clean sheet again here today. No signs that Burnley are going to cause him too many problems. Mendy, left-hand side. Plenty of opportunities for him to get forward on his return to Premier League action. It's been given away by City uncharacteristically. Josh Benson, his introduction to Premier League football has been a difficult one. Working hard in that midfield. He's not seeing a lot of the ball, is he, Kit?
No, he's not. He's not done bad, to be fair to him. It's been a baptism of fire, really, very, very tough. But he's worked hard, and he's done as well as any other Burnley player at this moment in time, I think. So, I'm sure he won't be happy with the way the game's going and the scoreline. He can be reasonably pleased with his performance so far.
It's 2-0 to Manchester City. Burnley can pick the bones out of the 2 goals that they have conceded, and certainly could have done better with the second one, that's for sure, for a throw-in.
Well, and the first one was a straight ball from Tarkowski, where they're in comfortable position, committed bodies further up the pitch, straight ball giveaway, and Man City breaking them, and they've got no recovery.
So, just coming up to the 35-minute mark, so 10 minutes from half-time. Ben Mee has a free kick on the halfway line for Burnley. Thrusts it up towards the edge of the penalty area, pretty central, and an easy header away for Ruben Diaz. Midweek Champions League win away at Olympiacos, guaranteed progress through to the round of 16 in the Champions League for City. It does mean that they can kind of ease themselves through the last fixtures in their group, although they'll obviously want to win the group for seeding purposes. But it's good to get through with games to spare, and that will be good news for Pep Guardiola. Phil Foden with the only goal in Greece. Down goes Rodriguez, down goes Barnes. Well, one of them was a free kick, the second one, and it's a chance for Burnley to deliver the ball here, Kit.
Yeah, well, we've already spoke about this. They are dangerous from set pieces, and City have previously looked a little bit vulnerable from them. So they'll certainly view these opportunities when they do come along as a great chance for them to get a goal back.
It's a chance for them to put the ball into the box and ask questions. 8 Premier League games this season have come up with just 16 goals. 4 for and 12 against, fewer than any other side in the league. The ball is delivered in. It was a timely header from Gundogan because right behind him on his shoulder was Ashley Barnes ready to pounce. Here's Taylor. He goes to the left and Josh Benson. If he stays in the team next weekend, he will do so by celebrating his 21st birthday next Sunday. There's McNeil. Steps away from Mahrez in the central position. Kind of got starstruck for a minute there. Did McNeil look round? He's got on his tail. He's got just Kevin De Bruyne. Doesn't quite know where to go. He's got it again here.
Yeah, just did really well. I think, we just spoke about him a few minutes ago. I think he's acquitted himself very well so far, and it looks like he's growing in confidence as the game goes on.
Westwood. Wide to Taylor. Takes a touch. Good delivery into the box. The header was from Barnes into the back of Mendy, who manages to retrieve it before it goes out for a corner and steer the ball up towards the halfway line. That's better from Burnley.
Yeah, it was. Those are the sort of situations they'll look to create more of. And Sean Dyche will be disappointed they haven't done more of up to date now. Just 37 minutes in, and the sort of first dangerous cross they're putting into the box, really. Mendy defends it reasonably well. He's got quite tight to his man, Ashley Barnes, but he's got his bit square on. But Ashley Barnes headed the ball back against Mendy, so able to clear the danger. But better from Burnley.
Kechiku Ogili, I hope I pronounced that right, is tweeted at TalkSport Live. My radio and I are listening to live EPL matches thanks to Naija 927 FM. And thanks to TalkSport Live for coverage today, where Manchester City are 7 minutes away from half-time. They're leading 2-0, and they're on the ball at the moment with Diaz. Walker, now De Bruyne. He's got a little bit of room to manoeuvre into. It's a good tackle by Ben Mee. Stood up and took the ball well against De Bruyne. Burnley are able to clear with the goalkeeper Bailey Peacock-Farrell up towards the halfway line. One well in the air by Walker. Jesus comes back to try and pick up the loose ball, but Burnley deal with it. It's Taylor, just curls the ball down the channel. Stones gets there first and carefully prods it back to his goalkeeper Edison. Up to the left now with Mendy. Gundogan.
He's not been tested too much so far, John Stones, but what he's done, what he's had to do, I think he's done very, very well.
There's Kyle Walker for City. He was rested in midweek. Kyle Walker scored the winner against his old club Sheffield United last month on his 100th appearance in the Premier League. Still, of course, very much part of the England setup. Stones rolls the ball back to Edison. Then help wide under pressure from Diaz. This is where City get the ball rolling. Towards the right-hand side, Taylor sliding in ahead of Walker. The expense of a throw-in. Tiptoeing up towards the last 5 minutes of the first half. And so far, so good for Manchester City. DJ Keefe has tweeted us saying he's on South Beast checking in. Good day when Liverpool drop points. Come on Burnley, get back to level terms, and an Arsenal win tomorrow and it'll be a perfect weekend. And he says there's always a punch-up. Let's have a punch-up in this match. I miss the 1990s. Well, we haven't had any threat of violence in this game yet, have we?
I don't think I've seen a tackle so far.
It's almost been pedestrian. This must have been like a pre-season friendly at times, and City grinding through the gears with Jesus. Lays it off to De Bruyne. Has to check back as he was motoring towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a great ball, and that's Mendy, and he slides it in for number 3. Great ball from De Bruyne, and he marks his comeback, Benjamin Mendy. What a lovely first-time finish. Left foot low into the corner. No chance for Peacock-Farrell. It's Manchester City 3, Burnley 0. They're struggling to get goals, Manchester City. They've suddenly found those shooting boots, and they're dusting them off in style this afternoon. We're not even at half-time yet, and City lead by 3 goals to 0.
Yeah, really good goal. They just managed to, with good passing, to break through the the units of Burnley. It's a brilliant ball from De Bruyne. And I said about Mendy would get forward. Sometimes his end product, his final ball, his quality is not always brilliant. But that was an excellent finish. It wasn't easy at all. A very tight angle. And he's put it right into the far corner across Peacock Farrell. So really accomplished finish from the left back. But a beautiful ball from Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, wonderful ball, isn't it? We're just looking at the replay on the monitor here, and it's a great ball, but a good finish as well. You know, that's not easy to execute. Quality from Benjamin Mendy.
So there's 2 assists for De Bruyne now as well. So, you know, we said that's when City are not really ticking and firing on all cylinders. You know, they miss his assists and then they miss goals, but they're getting both today.
Busy time, of course, December, even more so this year. Tuesday the 1st, coming Tuesday, they go to Portugal to take on Porto. They haven't played on a Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock since January. Well, this is a 3 o'clock, and next Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff, your old side are here, Fulham, and they'll be looking at this thinking, oh, crikey, what are we going to do? You know, because when Manchester City get going, you know, they're hard to stop.
Well, that's right, and coming into form just at the wrong time from a Fulham point of view, for sure. So I actually went to the fixture last year, and Fulham played them in the FA Cup.
That's right.
I went up to the Etihad for that game, and City were very strong, and too much for Fulham on that occasion.
Fulham had one sent off early on in that game.
Tim Ream got sent off early doors, giving away a penalty, so didn't make the plight any easier, that's for sure.
As a Fulham fan myself, I think I turned it off at that. Yeah, that kind of killed the game, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was early on, and Fulham were trying to play out from the back, and City with a high press forced a mistake, and then Tim Ream gave away a penalty and got sent off to compound the situation.
Here's Wood for Burnley, midway inside Manchester City half. Westwood steers it to the left-hand side, and McNeil gets there, but he's got Walker leaning into him. He does still get the cross in, and he's got a good left foot on him as well as McNeil, and it's been turned behind by Stones for a corner to Burnley, and a chance for them to send the 2 big central defenders forward, and a goal now for Burnley, probably statistically a boost. It's not going to urge a comeback, I wouldn't have thought, but to get on the score sheet, a little bit of respectability. It's Westwood puts the ball into the danger zone. Edison came and he kind of got swallowed up by a couple of Burnley players. The referee has blown his whistle, and it's a free kick. Foul by Bonds.
Lee Mason gave a free kick, a little bit soft it looked, but certainly as you said, Edison seemed to have slightly misjudged the flight of the ball and got caught out a little bit. But I mean, it was a good defensive header away from Man City end anyway, but Lee Mason's called for a foul, so City will be very happy to see that.
What does Sean Dyche say? There's a minute to go to half-time. What does he say to his players at half-time? Is it just a case of playing for pride and kind of shutting up shop as best you can?
Well, I think that's what it's got to be now, realistically, and, he is a realist. They're not going to win this game, and, very, very,
it would
very
be amazing
unlikely.
if he did, Kit.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing if he did.
Also, as I said, this year will rule nothing out, but it would be one of the most incredible.
I think VAR might run on and score the winner. There's more chance of that happening, I think.
There's a good chance of that happening.
Oh, well, anything can happen in the game now, we know that. But
it will be, I think, like you say, it'll be, this we're playing for pride, and it could come down to goal difference come the end of the season, and that can play such a huge part, so he won't want to concede anymore. And I say that the first 2 certainly were from poor mistakes from Burnley, so we want those ironed out, that's for sure.
It's Manchester City have a run of fixtures where you'd expect them to be picking up points as Edison comes out, slides to the edge of his box, and they had to let it go very quickly before he went out of the box with the ball, and that would have been a red card offence as we go into added time at the end of the first half. 2 minutes of additional time have been added on over on that far side from Anthony Taylor, 4th official today. City ending a half as they've pretty much played the whole half out, which is with the ball in their possession. Rodri, each perfect ball to Mahrez, takes it in his stride, runs straight into Taylor, who blocks him off and then rolls it down the line to McNeil. McNeil with his back to goal, turns the ball down the line, but it's picked up by Gondwan in space. Now Jesus slips past Ben Mee, still Jesus tries to go for the top corner in the near post area, but he slams it just wide.
Yeah, poor decision really from Jesus. He does very well, to be honest. Good feet, good trickery, good strength. But then he's very tight angle and he just tries to blast it, goes for sheer power and was never really going to trouble the goalkeeper from there. And he's got a couple of players in the box as well, so trying to go across the keeper would have been by far the better option, but he's a typical striker, a little bit greedy, wants to get a goal himself, and for me made a poor decision.
Burnley's next 3 games are at home to Everton, away to Arsenal, and then away to Villa before they take on Wolves just before Christmas. So there's no easy games, we know that, in the Premier League, but tough run of fixtures leading out to the festive season for Burnley. The likes of Cork and Brownhill's out injured today as well.
Robbie Brady's missing.
He's just picked up a hamstring injury, so that's probably going to be a few weeks for him. Goodmanson's gone down to the bench today as they try to shut things up a little bit. Here's Wood. He's been brought down by Gundogan, and the referee doesn't give anything.
No, good decision there. Yeah, Wood very, very physical, as we know, and sort of throwing his weight around, using his physicality to good use. But there was no foul in that for me. If anything, would have been a foul to City, but they came away with the ball and he let them play on. So good refereeing there from Lee Mason.
Oh, Sean Dyche not too happy with the 4th official, Anthony Taylor, as he makes his way down the tunnel at half-time. He'll be trying to plot the miracle of all miracles, Sean Dyche, for the second half. But Manchester City have found their comfort zone in the first half. It's been so very, very easy for them. 2 goals for Riyad Mahrez and 1 on his return from injury for Benjamin Mendy. Gives us a half-time score of Manchester City 3, Burnley 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
What will you really gain from using anabolic steroids? Using illegal anabolic steroids can lead to nasty and serious side effects, both physical and psychological. Heart failure, infertility, hair loss, acne, mood swings, increased aggression. Don't lose out to steroid gains. Know the risks. Visit zerogains.ie. A message from the Health Products Regulatory Authority.
Amazon's Black Friday week is here, so you can either shop last-minute presents and be a Christmas nobody, or shop now and become a Christmas hero.
Wow, best present ever.
Amazon's Black Friday week, 20th to 30th November. Shop now, relax later.
There's certain matchday sounds we are all missing. But there are others we don't have to. Is Carlsberg Pilsner the best beer to enjoy while watching the match at home? Probably. Carlsberg Pilsner, probably the best beer in the world. Enjoy Carlsberg sensibly. Visit drinkaware.ie.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erskó Kayla. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie. Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer, FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. FPD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FPD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance plc.
123inc.ie have your office needs covered. So whether you're an accountant, butcher, carpenter, dentist, electrician, florist, graphic designer, hairdresser, journalist, lecturer, musician, optician, retailer, teacher, solicitor, web designer, or yoga instructor, we've got what you need. And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123inc.ie. For home, for office, for less.
Half-time here at the Etihad. Manchester City 3, Burnley 0. Let's have a quick recollection of how that first half unfolded. Well, there's a chance, and it's Riyad Mahrez. He made no mistake. Simple one-on-one, and Riyad Mahrez tucks it away with his left foot into the corner. And it's not taken Manchester City long at all to get their noses in front.
Far too easy for Manchester City. Sean Dyche won't be happy at all. A poor goal from a Burnley point of view coming from a giveaway from them.
Riyad Mahrez jigs past the couple and curls it into the corner. It's a lovely piece of skill from Riyad Mahrez. It's 2 for him, it's 2 for City, just over 20 minutes gone.
All the play they do, and they would have done a lot of work on it during the week with their defensive shape when the ball's in play and getting that low block against Man City. You know, it's all undone on 2 simple moments like that they should have done better with.
De Bruyne has to check back as he was motoring towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a great ball, and that's Mendy, and he slides it in for number 3. Great ball from De Bruyne, and he marks his comeback, Benjamin Mendy, with a lovely first-time finish, left foot low into the corner. No chance for Peacock Farrell. It's Manchester City 3, Burnley 0. That's the way of things at half-time. Manchester City on their way, you would think, to 3 points this afternoon. Well, Kit, it's been one-way traffic, and City exhilarating at times, but Burnley have been the masters of their own downfall in 1 or 2 of those goals.
Well, they have. Well, all 3 of them really. Seeing them back again, even the third one, which looked like a really good goal from Man City, and obviously was from their point of view. De Bruyne picks the ball up, and Jay Rodriguez is back with Mendy, so it's the right winger tracking back with his opposing left back, as they should do, and he just lets him run off him. Completely just stops. You know, he gets caught ball watching. It's a really good ball from De Bruyne. Mendy's still got a bit to do, but he's allowed to run free as a bird into the Burnley box and picks his spot at the far post for a really good finish and for the third goal. Second one's from a quick throw, and they just didn't set up, didn't get bodies back in at all. Kyle Walker, clever, good play from him, quick thinking, just throws it straight into Mahrez, just cuts inside the 2 centre-backs and puts it into far corner. And the first one's from a Tarkowski giveaway and a counter-attack then from Man City. So all 3 goals from a Burnley point of view are very, very stoppable. So that's what will really annoy and frustrate Sean Dyche now.
And they haven't really offered much in return. I mean, it could have been worse. So the De Bruyne loft, which very nearly caught out Peacock Farrell, and an error by Peacock Farrell from the header from Jesus, but the flag went up, so that didn't count. But you know, it could have been a whole lot worse. And you're expecting City to go on and win by 5 or 6 here, really, aren't you?
Well, you would do. I mean, just looking at it now, you know, the previous 3 games at the Etihad have been 5-0, and you know, if I was a betting man, I'd probably go for 5-0 today. I mean, who knows what this second half's going to throw at us? It could be a much tighter affair, but you know, when once City have got their noses in front like this and are playing with a bit of confidence and the cushion of those 3 goals, and you can see them scoring a couple more.
Of course, 3 goals flying in, and we're doing our best to entertain you with the commentary here, but it's never quite the same without the crowd inside the stadiums in the Premier League, but that's about to change. We'll talk about that, me and Kit, in just a moment. First of all, let's hear from the Everton manager, Carlo Ancelotti, who says it's great that crowds are coming back into football stadiums.
This is a really good news for the Premier League. I mean, not only for Everton, because it's not the problem of Everton or our club. It's true that Everton supporters are allowed, but everyone hopes that all the supporters will be allowed as soon as possible to go to the stadium and to support his team.
So the news this week that depending on the tier, it's a 3-tier system here in England. Once the current lockdown is lifted on Wednesday this coming week, a 3-tier system, and depending on what tier you're in, you will be allowed up to 4,000 spectators into the ground. That's tier 1. No one's in tier 1 unless you live in a remote island 30 miles off the coast of somewhere. So it's all tier 2 and tier 3. So 2,000 people will be attending a handful of the games in the Premier League from next week. Kit, that is good news, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Now, I know a few managers have commented they don't think it's fair because, you know, it does give you an advantage. It plays a part without any shadow of a doubt now. But just for the good of football, the good of the nation as a whole. You know, getting people back into football grounds is a good thing, and I'm certainly one who's looking forward to it.
How much atmosphere do you think 2,000 people in, say, St James's Park, for example, where you can get 55,000 in, 2,000 people rattling around in the seats, you know, is it going to generate much of an atmosphere? I suppose it's better than nothing, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing, and this is how people will be viewing it. You know, I remember playing games for Wales in the Arms Park, where we had very small crowds in a beautiful big stadium. And it's not soul destroying, but it's not quite right. It doesn't give a good atmosphere where it's a big ground and, you know, not full or nowhere near full. But suddenly now, I think it will be brilliant, and people will love it, and the players will appreciate it. Suddenly to get any sort of atmosphere, and you know, I think the fans will really appreciate it. So although small numbers going back in, I'm sure these small numbers will make as much noise as they can for the full duration of the game, because they'll really appreciate having the opportunity to be watching live football again.
And you of course touched on the comment you made just a few moments ago. Some clubs feel it's unfair. Some clubs are not going to be. Manchester City, I think, are one of them. They're going to be in Tier 3, so they're not going to be able to let the crowds in just yet.
No, that's right, and it is disappointing, and I feel for those clubs. You know, they'll be seeing other teams get some of their fans back and things like that, and they won't be able to do it. So I do feel for them. But I also think it's the right thing to do, and these are unprecedented times, and we've got to do what's the best thing for the whole of football and the whole of the country, and you know, and certainly getting people back into football game however we can is the right thing to do.
Small steps, and that's good news that as of next week, at least some of the games being played out in the Premier League will.
ما حرمناش اسكلاف ما حرمناش
هاي تقصديها
الباب كيسور بالكاس في سوقه كاس قداش هذا ها يسوق الباب كيسور به